Hello, and welcome to The Haunting of Mallory and Mergaut. Our players and I have a spooky story prepared for you this evening, and we are very excited to jump into it. But first, we're going to hear a little bit from all of our players. My name is Zach, or Z Halo. I will be your storyteller for the evening. And Sebastian slash Aries, we're going to start with you because you're first on my screen.
All right. Well, thank you. Hey guys, I'm Adrian or Aries, and you can find me here a lot on the Bear Pin, where I play games or host games sometimes, and also on Saturdays. Just like half an hour or an hour ago, I was on Lords of Faerun on Kira's channel, where Elise DMs, and that was a whole lot of fun. And yeah, this evening I am playing Sebastian Thoreau, the Thanatos mage, who is just perpetually tired and is just already over everybody's nonsense, and is often hounded by his mother to take better care of himself.
Awesome. Well, Idris or Ree, let's go ahead and hear from you next.
Hello, everyone. I am at Big Dude Re on Twitters. I also am on Lords of Faerun a little bit before this, so you should definitely check us out. It's an awesome show. And I also appear on this channel every once in a while to bring you some super fun characters. Tonight, I will be playing Idris, the Bata follower of Obutala. And hopefully we can get along with the spirits. They're just misunderstood. You just have to reach out.
Excellent. And Megan or Beatrice. I forgot the name, and I had to look on Zoom.
Hi, I'm Megan. I'll be playing Beatrix Thorne. She is kind of a kitchen witchy, semi-chaotic Verbena. You can find me on Twitter at QuaiNot. Here on Twitch, though it's been a while, at Murphy Pop Art, where I draw stuff and listen to chill, copyright-free lo-fi beats. And also every other Thursday, I am on at the Lawful Geek here with our Peanuts, which is a show where we jump from system to system. Right now we're in Scion, but I mean, nonsense is absolutely going to happen. So I check my Twitter because I forget if this is an on Thursday or an off Thursday, and the phone tells me. My phone tells me where I'm supposed to be.
Awesome. And Eliza, let's hear from you.
It's Elisa.
Eliza. Yes, you're right. Thank you. Eliza.
Hi, I'm Elisa Pearl, and I do a lot of streaming. You've already heard about Lords of Faerun. I also play in another D&D campaign on Sundays called Gax Pack, and I run a Klingon monthly game on the last Mondays of the month over at Q Times. And then I do a whole bunch of other streaming. So you can follow me at Elisa Pearl, Aliza Pearl on Twitter and Instagram. And I post about everything I'm doing.
Excellent. And of course, we have someone helping us behind the scenes. So nod to our tech director, Dom, behind the curtain. We are very thankful for him tonight. We will get this ghost party started soon. But first, let's roll our intro video.
Let's pretend what happened didn't happen. I was all to blame, I realize. I've been waiting for a chance to tell you, sweetheart, I apologize. It's all my fault, yes, all my fault. I didn't mean to make you cry. You really ought to know how I love you. It's all my fault, and I'm afraid that if you ever say goodbye, you'll surely break my heart. That's why I'm blue. You know I wouldn't want to hurt you. The longest day I live, I wouldn't want to grieve you. So please forget, please forgive.
Um, Today, we begin our tale as this group, the T.A.D.A Detective Agency, at least one of their units, travels into town on a case. There is a company van that is provided for such situations, but someone must be driving it. Which of you is driving the van this evening?
Oh, that's a good question.
Have
Let me
one
check
dot
my
and
sheet
drive.
quickly. Well, I have no dots and drive.
This is in the back.
Okay,
Excellent.
so I guess it's beach.
Yeah.
One
The-
drop and a lot of confidence.
The kitchen witch is driving this evening.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, Beatrice, as you've been driving, it hasn't been too bad, but as you started to pass into the city limits for New Orleans, you started to see like a little bit of fog. It wasn't too bad, so it wasn't causing any problems. But as you got closer and closer, it gets a bit worse. Um, you're probably about a mile from the city when it starts to become thick enough that you need to actually slow down for fear of hitting some animal or obstruction. Um, and at that point, I need you to make me a drive check. So go ahead and roll your dexterity and drive at a difficulty of 5.
Oh no. I don't think there's anywhere. Oh well, it's worth a shot. Okay, all right. I mean, all right. Oh God.
Well, remember, our difficulties are different for the 20th edition. So that just means you're trying to get over a 5 and not reach 5 successes.
Yeah.
You're just
No.
looking for over 5 on the dice.
Oh, okay. So like the numbers on the dice.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
okay. Hey
so
everybody.
how-
Hey everybody. It's okay. It's okay, everybody. She like goes,
Yep.
but I rolled an 8.
All
Okay,
right.
on your 1 dot.
Well, this is Dex and the drive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I rolled 3 because it's 2 and 1. It's 2 in
Yeah.
Dex and
So
1 in drive.
you rolled
Yeah.
3 dice. You
Yeah.
had 1 that was 8. Were any others 5 or above?
No.
Just the 1. Okay. So still, that is a success. It is, however, a bit jarring for you and everyone in the car as you slam on your brakes to come to a complete stop about 1.5 feet away from the face of someone who seems to be sitting in a rocking chair in the middle of the road
Okay.
without explanation.
Sounds
It
pretty smooth,
is-
right?
Mm,
Um,
Oh
I
my
wouldn't
goodness.
say smooth, but we are still alive. Thank the Father. Is that person out there okay?
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? He's pulling a little flask out of his pocket.
If you just look out the window, what does she see out out the windshield?
Go ahead and roll me a perception. So I think we'll do wisdom and perception for this. It is a bit misty, but you are very close to her. So we'll say that this is at difficulty. We'll say difficulty 4.
Perception and wisdom? Is that
Alertness or awareness?
Did I say the wrong things? Hold
I
on.
don't do wisdom. I do have alertness though.
So perception and alertness. Yes, that is what I meant.
And are we in the countryside or the city right now?
At the moment, you're about a mile and a half away from the city limits. So kind of the countryside.
Okay, cool.
The highest I got was a 9.
The highest you got was a 9. How many of them are above 4?
Oh, cool.
Or 4 or above, rather.
I got you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5. So that is a very good number of successes. You're very perceptive. So as you kind of look over the details, you can see that this is an older woman. You'd say maybe like mid 50s, early 60s is probably what you would estimate. Although she has like kind of long, medium length, I guess you would say, red hair, and there doesn't seem to be too much gray in it, but from the face you can kind of tell that she's a bit older. She is wearing like a long sort of flowing dress that looks like it's made of a pretty thick material. It kind of has a floral pattern on it. And in her hands she is shuffling a deck of cards. You can't entirely make them out even with 5 successes, but they don't look like playing cards. It's some other sort of deck.
So I think Beatrice like, okay. So she kind of, I would say she says it like, okay, there's like an older lady. I mean, like an old lady, but like just older, like 50. I mean, I'm not that far. Anyway, okay. And there, and she's got the hair. You see the hair, but like she also, okay. So she's in the middle of the street and she has a deck of cards, and I do not think they're playing cards. And this isn't really my expertise. And she'll kind of like sit back in the seat.
I will add one more detail. She does not seem to have noticed you for whatever that might be worth. She's not even looking at you despite the screeching brakes.
She's not looking at the license plate number or writing anything down.
Not at all.
Oh,
Nope.
that's okay. That's
Oh,
good.
I mean,
That's
that's a
good.
driving hazard right there. She's gonna need to move. I'm gonna open the door, and he'll open the door and actually get out and approach the older woman. Ma'am, are you aware you're in the middle of the road? Do you need some
Yes,
assistance?
Oh, that would be lovely, Sebastian, my dear. Would you mind carrying the chair? It's a little bit too heavy for me.
I don't believe I introduced myself.
Oh, no, of course you did. That's the polite thing to do when someone arrives. Just to introduce themselves, right?
Yes, but I definitely didn't introduce myself. Unless you read my books,
Oh, yes, of course. I'm sure that's what it was. Would you mind? And she like gestures at the rocking chair.
I I mean, I can try. You're not going to still be in it though, right? I mean, could I help you like stand up first, or?
Yeah, as you help her stand up and she allows you, you hear the sound of footfalls behind you. Click, click.
Can I make a perception alertness roll to see what these footfalls are?
Absolutely.
All right. Come on, don't let me down, Sebastian. 1, 2, 3.
So in this case, the difficulty is going to be 6 because you cannot see the person.
I got 3 successes.
3 6. That is still a number. You kind of, wave the mist away as much as you can in your sort of immediate vicinity after you've helped her up. And it seems like there's not anyone as you wade through the mist close enough for you to have, heard their footfalls that loudly.
All right. I'm gonna slowly move the chair out of the middle of the road, but I am kind of looking back into the van to sort of indicate to somebody else to maybe come join me out here as well.
I feel like I would have gotten out of the van by now. See what's going on.
Doro, you can see it as well as you're getting out of the van. Sebastian, with your high notice check, you also are aware of this. Something small and furry, probably about the size of a raccoon, kind of darts through the mist, and you can feel it sort of brush up against your leg before it disappears.
Oh, what was that?
Oh, yeah, I don't like surprises. Ma'am, where am I taking you?
Oh, just out of the road. I think you're probably right. It's probably for the best. I'm so sorry. As I said, it's polite to introduce yourself, and I haven't introduced myself. My name's Agatha. Agatha Mergaut.
We're on our way to meet your family.
Oh, that's delightful. I do hope you enjoy your time with them.
Ma'am, may I ask why you are sitting in the middle of the road? Are you feeling well? Do you need assistance of some kind?
Oh, I feel very well, but I'm not sure why I'm here. I am pretty far away from home.
I think she
Something
lost.
must have called me here.
I whispered to Sebastian, I think she lost her memory.
Yeah, that could be it. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this or not, but with correspondence and time, because I have 3 correspondence and I have 2 in time, would I be able to see her recent past at all?
So I would say probably not. But what you could do with that is you could look through the recent time of the area that you're in, right?
Okay.
So like you could look backwards through time in the area to maybe see how she got here. That would be something you could easily accomplish with that magic.
So I will turn to Doro and I will say, I'm just going to have a look around quickly. If you don't mind, ma'am, would you speak with my colleague here? She's a doctor. I'm just going to make sure that everything is copacetic around here.
Oh, absolutely. I had a doctor once. Loved him. Lovely old man. That was a number of years ago. Pleasure to meet you, Agatha Mergaut.
Hello, Agatha. My name is Dr. Anyamu. You may call me Doro. Do you
It's a
mind
pleasure
if
to.
do you mind if I just look over to see if you are injured or anything?
Oh, I don't think that's necessary, but if it'll make you feel better, certainly.
Yes, it would very much. Thank you.
So should I go ahead and make my arete roll there, Zach?
Yeah, go ahead and roll Arete. I think the difficulty will be, I think 5. Does that sound right?
Yeah, because it's a site-based thing, so it's not overtly.
Right, but it's time, which makes it slightly harder because time is a little bit funky. So I think instead of 4, it would be 5.
3 successes.
Very good. You look through the recent passing of this area. It's very misty. There are not that many people traveling. As you sort of start now and look backwards, you have the slightly disorienting feeling of passing by your recent conversations as you go backwards. But once you pass through that, you see almost as if in a freeze frame, the woman is sitting there before you all got there in this area. It's still very misty, so the amount of time that you all can see, or the amount of area that you can see is a bit difficult, although a lot more than actually your physical eyes due to the correspondence magic effect. And you're kind of searching and looking for the moment where she was maybe dropped off and set up her rocker, or maybe like an Uber, or drove herself and stashed the car somewhere. You don't even see her walk into view. You pass a point where she just disappears, rocker and all, no longer present. And then as you go backwards, that's when you start to see the odd car here and there as you pass backwards through time, past that time. It doesn't seem like anyone else arrived in the span of time she was sitting there, which wasn't all that long, but maybe 20, 30 minutes or so.
I'm pulling out a notebook, a little sketchbook from my pocket, because this is part of his job, and I'm sketching down a few impressions and such of what I've seen, writing a few notes and putting it back in my pocket. How's she looking, Doro?
Yeah, I'd like to see if I can do like a diagnostic check on this woman.
I would vote for intelligence and medicine. Does that seem fair to you, or do you have another suggestion? Okay, cool.
No, yeah, I think that would be it.
You're just doing the type of procedure that you've done hundreds of times before. So I'll say the difficulty is actually only 3 for this.
Okay. Oops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I rolled 7. I got 7 successes.
It does seem like the rocker has some sort of physical manifestation. At least Sebastian was able to interact with it. Unfortunately, you do not have that same experience when you try to get a pulse from Miss Agatha. Your hand passes right through wherever you went to check the pulse.
Oh.
And she just looks at you a bit expectantly, and she's like, "Don't you see, dear? I'm fine, just as always."
And I do
Would
this.
you
to see if
go
she
ahead
follows my-
and would you go ahead and roll me a willpower check at difficulty 5?
Okay.
So
So willpower.
It's starting early.
I just
Uh-oh.
roll only my willpower dice, right?
yeah. So I think you'll have like 5 or 6, and then we'll look for numbers above 5. Sebastian, you're close, but I would say at the moment you're probably more absorbed in, seeing through the spell and taking your notes. So you probably don't actually need to make the check.
I got 2 successes.
2. Okay. It's not easy because it is a bit disorienting. If it's not the first time that your hand has gone through a patient, like through the mist, it's definitely not a high number of times, but you have seen some weird things in your days. So you just kind of draw on that experience to steel yourself. How else do you react as you're kind of calling upon that inner reserve of strength?
Well, I'm less concerned because now I know this woman doesn't like belong somewhere, like to a family that's missing her in terms of like, oh my goodness, where did she go?
Mhm.
But still concerned because this spirit is just lost, doesn't know where she should be, or see, I'm still concerned for her, but the concern is slightly lessened now.
Mhm.
Beatrix is holding her hand over the horn of the van, and she's waiting to see if her team members start looking scared. She's just gonna lay on that horn and rev the engine.
Mm.
Like
Are we
she's not
still-
turned it off; it's still on. She's like,
Mhm. Are we still standing in
Beatrix,
front of the car where her rocker was?
I think
No,
we
you
moved
all
the
have
rocker just
moved
to the
off to
side.
the
Okay.
side of the road. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say you're kind of like right there with her by the rocker, and Sebastian at the moment is finishing up taking his notes, wandering. He's very close to you, but not quite exactly at the rocker.
Okay. So I'm gonna say, ma'am, do you what is the last thing you remember besides sitting in this road?
Hmm. Well, I was at home at my house. Um, quite beautiful. We have a garden. I've always enjoyed that. The gates are rather large and imposing. Oh, but then I was so upset because I found out that my granddaughter's missing.
Oh. And how old is your granddaughter?
Oh, hmm, I'm not sure, but I think she's quite young. Um, hmm. I can't say, but rather young. Go ahead and roll me a what is it? Say maybe you're trying to recall something, so it would be intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how about intelligence and research at difficulty 5?
Okay.
So have I heard this conversation too?
Go ahead and re-give me that perception and alertness check, just because you're sort of absorbed in finishing up another task as well.
Okay.
Standard
Okay.
difficulty of 3 for you, Sebastian.
I got 2 successes on that.
You remember from going over your case files that the Mergaut name, you obviously heard that. You're looking for a woman named Mallory who
Mhm.
is missing as part of this case, and she was about in her mid 20s. So probably not really someone you would describe as young.
Mhm. And not a granddaughter to a 50-something woman.
Not unless she has been passed for a while.
True. True. Okay. Ma'am, may I ask, does the name Mallory sound familiar to you?
Have you met my granddaughter?
Not yet. We were on our way to your family's home to see if we could meet up with her.
Oh, well, that's excellent, because if you're supposed to go meet up with her, then she would have to be found for you to meet her. So if that's what you're supposed to do, that's excellent news.
I turned to Sebastian and actually I'm gonna say, ma'am, would you excuse me for a minute? I need to consult with my colleague.
Oh, of course. And she'll go back to the rocker and sit down as you go to speak with Sebastian.
So I signal Sebastian to like come follow me back onto the van.
Sebastian digs in his pocket, pulls out a little silver cigarette case, and he flips it open. But inside is just sticks of nicotine gum. And he pulls one out and starts chewing.
So once we're back on the van, I say to the whole group, so she is a ghost and she is the grandmother of the woman that we are supposed to find.
She
Well, how
wasn't
is she
there.
doing? How is she doing?
Well, she seems very pleasant, I must say. She does not seem very agitated or anything, but she is aware that her granddaughter is missing. But she referred to her granddaughter as someone very young. So I think there is some time difference here. Like, she is a spirit from a long time ago. But how long has this person been missing that we were looking for? And I'm going to look at the case file again.
I imagine we would have the case file with us in the van,
Mm.
right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sebastian's pretty meticulous about keeping shit.
You can definitely reference it for exact details. She went missing about 48 hours before you all were called. It took you about 2 days after that to, collect yourselves, get you flown into town, do whatever work may have been necessary, be informed of negotiating the pay for the case, those kinds of details. So I'd say you're around 90 to 96 hours out at this point.
And Sebastian, I'm going to show people the 2 sketches that I made. So this is the road, like, it's normal. Everything's fine. And flip the page down. Suddenly there's the chair there and her rocker there. We know she's a ghost, so that kind of makes a bit of sense. But that chair, is that chair real? I mean,
Oh, real.
It does.
Ghost story. Just as real as you or I.
Yes, the chair, I believe the chair is material. It is solid, if that is what you're saying. But she is not.
how did she move it a whole mile and a half or more from there to here?
I have no
Zipper is
idea.
helping us. This is
Beatrice.
very positive. Yes.
As you're speaking with your colleagues, you hear a knock, very soft, on the window.
Yeah, I didn't hit anybody. Not this time.
The driver's side window.
Okay. She kind of like does that little like, and she like turns and tries to look very positive at whatever she's gonna see.
It's
Very together
Agatha.
and positive. She'll look to where the knocking is.
It's Agatha. You turn
Oh,
and
it's
look,
Agatha.
and she's just standing there.
Hey,
By
do
the
you want to
window.
ride?
Oh, no, dear. I just wanted to warn you that nothing good happens after midnight. You look at the clock. It's 12:01.
That's a very useful warning that you gave us. Oh boy. Okay, so you don't this. Hey, okay, I know I just said like the universe was like kind of being positive about this. I'm starting to like retract that just a little. Like it's 50-50. It's 50-50. This is gonna work out okay.
Yes, just be careful. I'll be at my rocker if anyone needs me.
Don't be in the middle of the street though, if you can, because that's some people can't afford any more points on their license.
Oh, of course, yes. Mr. Sebastian was nice enough to move it for me.
Okay.
I wish you a great
Agatha,
journey.
Oh, yes.
Good.
Agatha, just one question here for our case. Who's the president?
Hmm?
Who's the president right now?
Hold on. your
Making him do
storyteller
math.
needs to look this up.
I mean, I wouldn't know. I'm South African.
Well, so before you ask that question, I will have turned to the rest of you and said, what do we do with this ghost woman? Do we leave her here by the side of the road?
Yes,
Or do we take her
she
with
is.
us?
No. She's on her journey. Papa Lepo will be around to collect her soon. Until then, she is of no harm to anyone, and really the world is as much of hers as it is ours.
She does seem quite
He-
harmless. It's true. Maybe
he-
we just leave her.
He looks you dead in the eyes, Sebastian, and not like in a like "Bleh," scary way,
Hmm.
but the most firm that you've seen her be, and not quite so friendly this time. She says, "Well, Mr. Sebastian, we no longer say his name after that untoward business with his intern."
Man, you're gonna have to be more specific. I'm sorry.
Intern. Would
Yes.
we? Would I? Would any
Does he
of
have
us
his own hair? That's all I need to know.
Oh, of course, a very big
Okay.
head of it.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right.
Would
Well,
any of
thank
us
you.
know
What-
what she's?
Yeah, he plays
think
plays
she
the
means Clinton.
saxophone.
Would our? I mean, would
Oh,
any of our
that's a good point.
characters?
I think age-wise, Beatrix would probably know. Yeah, she.
Yeah. I would say those of you who were adults when Clinton was, or teenagers when he was in the White House, you would all be aware at this point.
Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am. What? You can go take a seat in your rocker, and he's just gonna turn to the rest of them. I don't know. I mean, my teachers were pretty clear about this. If we find them, they're supposed to move on. We're not supposed to like leave them lingering around so they can get like reborn and stuff. But that's not my area of expertise. Most I can do. I don't know if I could do that for her.
Oh,
Said that she's cool.
sorry to bother you, Mr. Sebastian, but you all will be leaving soon. So did you want me to read your fortune before you go?
I don't know about that.
We all go.
Sounds absolutely delightful.
Oh, of course. No problem then. I certainly wouldn't want to, upset any of you.
Oh no! I mean,
I will say though, well, it's going to sound rather rude, but to be honest with you, I never much trusted the help. One of them stole from me shortly after I was married.
So the butler did it.
When Grandma gets weird, and you all just like, "Good night, Grandma. Goodbye." Oh no, it got awkward real quick.
But we will do our best to look into this problem for you, and we will have it handled.
do you want to tell us the name of that person you were talking about? The help? Oh no, you don't remember the name.
I don't remember his name. How did you know that?
Oh, just guessing.
Leave her on the side of the road. Let's go.
You're very sharp.
I don't know if I can do this, so I'm going to ask my storyteller here because
Okay.
I don't know if this is enough to do this. But with Prime 3 and Correspondence 3 and Entropy 2, could I draw her a doorway into the next plane?
That would be more of a spirit interaction.
Okay.
You could, with Prime 3, directly interact with, you're Euthanatos, you're aware that spirits have essence, and that essence can be interacted with in either through spirit or with pure energy, which you're capable of doing with Prime. But getting any sort of doorway would be more the domain of spirit.
Okay. Well, sure, we should just leave her. I mean,
Yes. Leave her be. She will find her own path soon. As I said, Papa Lepo doesn't make a mistake. If she's here, then she's meant to be here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All the spirit stuff.
Hey, Beatrice, make me a perception and alertness roll at difficulty 5. Yeah, 5. I'm gonna need to get more creative. I'm really liking difficulty 5 right now.
Oh, okay. To check, it's on one of those. As long as one of those is over 5. Well, whatever one's
Yeah,
over
so
5.
that will be a success, but you can have varying degrees of success depending on how many of them
Yeah,
are
very good.
5 or
4.
above.
Yeah.
4 that are
I
5
was just
or
checking
above.
because I don't want to be
You-
overly successful. Like
You
I wanna
notice
be
it.
the
You notice it immediately out of the corner of your eye. She has disappeared
Oh, okay. Hey, we should
from
get out of here
the
now.
spot by the window where she had been speaking.
She's at peace or something. She's gonna read us our fortunes, and I mean, here's the thing. I just don't think that you should know your fortune. I think you just should just like live it, like be natural and stuff. Because it's never anything good. It's never like, hey, everything's gonna be cool. It's always like, don't open that door. But I think we're gonna have to open doors. And she starts revving the engine, but she hasn't gotten it to drive. She's just like, so we're going, or
Yes, I think we should go too.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. And you see that he is Sebastian. I didn't describe what he really looks like yet. So he has sort of like longish black hair, and he has you can tell that he is biracial because he has a very nice sort of like almost tan skin, but it's like he's sort of he's got that tan skin, he's got the lovely olive eyes, and his mom is also French and stuff like that, so he has a bit of a French nose and everything that goes on, but he is very well dressed, and he has nice like vest on and sort of like tightish suit pants and like nice sort of like crocodile leather skin boots and stuff, but he is like straightening his vest and tightening things up, and he is very like uncomfortable with the whole situation and trying to like mess with his cuffs, and he's like getting the papers and the case file into order and being very obsessive about the whole thing. That freaked me out.
it's okay. No worry. And Beatrix will point to she has like a little thermos. Okay, so I made it's chamomile and lemon balm, and I have some papers. It sometimes it tastes a little sharp. It's gonna cool you down better than that gum. Better than that gum.
Take it you all don't like talking with the spirits often.
It's not something I was trained so much to do. I mean, look, the offer was there, but it was more along the lines of you're supposed to get them to go, get them to move on, because we're supposed to keep going in a big circle, right?
Mm.
Right?
Yes. However, I think maybe because she has a shared name with the woman that we are looking for, maybe we need to do that, and that will help that woman move on.
That is certainly possible. There's never a rush. There's no way to rush the spirits. You can't rush the wind or the air. You just have to let things happen like they're supposed to. On top of that, will be around to collect the dead when he is ready and when it's time.
Yeah. You're right. I think Doro, you've probably like seen Sebastian get into these little like states every now and then, and I don't know, maybe you even suggested anxiety medication on occasion for him. It's like,
Oh, I
no,
feel
not
like I've
yet.
probably offered to heal you many times, and you probably have been like, "Oh, think about it," or whatever.
It's just I'm so swamped with these cases.
Right.
More stories to write.
He's definitely been thinking about it for like a year and a half now. Yeah.
Anytime you want, you can come. You can come to my headquarters, and I can cure all of that, everything, the anxiety, the smoking addiction, the cravings, everything. What are you afraid of?
It's not that. It's just I'm just so busy all the time. So busy.
Mm-hmm.
Beatrice,
Too
do you
busy.
drive?
Yeah. In fact, she's trying to pour out some from the thermos in a cup in one hand and like driving with the other hand. And so she's waving it behind her, like take it, take it,
Yeah,
take
I'm
it.
gonna come over and grab it from her.
Oh, okay. Yes, thank you. Whoever
And
has
I'll-
this is good.
And I'll pass it
Beatrice,
to Sebastian.
Beatrice only. Go ahead and roll me a willpower
Oh
roll
no.
at difficulty 7.
Oh no. Okay. Yeah, hold on to that tea real tight.
Yeah, we're about to get a face full of hot tea. That's all I'm
Ooh.
saying.
Okay. Okay. No, I got one success.
You you hit you okay, so you go to drive as you're handing back the tea. But you get a little bit spooked and spill some a little bit
Sorry.
onto Doro.
No, I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's
It
okay. It's
splashes a little bit and also hits Idris in the back.
Oh.
As you slam down a little bit too fast, because you very quickly notice a voice in the back of your head, like it's whispering to you, that says, "Oh, you don't have to worry about the door being opened, dear. Unfortunately, it's already open." And as you look around at your companions, you quickly realize you're the only one that heard it, because they don't seem to have reacted at all.
Oh. Okay.
I checked yet.
She'll slow down, but she hasn't stopped driving yet because she wants to appear that she's cool. Hey, so I heard a voice and looking at, I don't like what, look at, don't worry, I'm driving. Okay. I'm just looking at you real quick. Okay. So none of you seem to have heard it. Yeah. No voices. Nobody heard anything.
No.
Okay.
The other 3 of you roll me perception and alertness. Unfortunately, Beatrice is a bit too frazzled to
I'm a little
potentially
frazzled.
notice this.
What
She
is
picks off
the
a berry
success?
from her hat and chews
What's
it.
the target number?
The difficulty will be 4.
Four successes for Sebastian.
3
2
successes.
successes.
Okay. You all are able to notice that the rocker is gone when Beatrice starts driving. It's just not there. I mean, it was definitely close enough to the road that you should have seen it, but it's not there.
My jacket, it's gonna take me forever to wash this out.
Oh, I have some natural ways to wash that. Don't worry. In natural stain, natural washes fall. Actually, I'm a little stressed out, and she'll take some mint leaves off her hat and she starts just chewing them. Okay. Okay, it's great. I'm sorry. The tea's more relaxing when it's in you, not on you, and this is true. Also, I heard a voice, and it was very creepy. And it said something about a door already being open, and it was not in a pleasant way.
Oh. A
So-
door open.
While Sebastian is there in the car, he's just going to take out that same sketchbook which he uses, and he's going to take out some of his tools, which is this special set of drawing pens. And Tony Mage is in the car right now, so what he's going to do is he's going to draw Idris's clothes, and he's going to draw the thermos out, and then he's going to draw a little comic book, a little corner comic book of the tea going off of the clothes and back into the thermos. So I'm using correspondence and matter to do this.
Go ahead and roll it Arate for me.
Oh, Beatrix hates this. She's like, no, simple solutions for simple answers. You don't
The
have to magic a
difficulty-
stain.
The difficulty will be 5.
Ah,
3 successes.
Idris, you watch, and the rest of you also notice as the little droplets like pop up out of your jacket, like 1 or 2 of them at first that you can kind of see, and they all start pop, 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 like popcorn out of it and slowly drifting, like flowing along the bottom of the car, up the center console and the thermos, and back into the car.
I like to see she's seeing it through the rearview window. And she's like, I have a Tide pen.
Oh,
So that solves that problem. Thank you.
Ah,
You know, the drawing just calms me down. I helps me think.
ah.
Helps me think.
The voice, it said there was a door that was open. Did it mention what type of door, perhaps where it is? I'd hate for someone to be losing the valuable air and heat.
I don't think it was that. The storyteller, she didn't hear. She was more of like a metaphorical door, right? She interpret, or oh, she doesn't know.
You can choose to interpret it that way. You can give me a wits and esoterica if you want to try to
Oh
interpret.
my god, I put dots in esoterica.
Nice.
Be a storyteller.
How many? Okay.
Sorry, the difficulty is going to be we'll just say 3 because doors are like actually pretty common.
Yeah, no, just the one success.
One success. Okay. Well, you know that much. You know that doors are a very common symbol, and unfortunately, they can mean a lot of things. It can mean portals. It can mean like actual doors. It can mean like the beginning of events, like the doorway to, the apocalypse or something, right? Like it can mean a number of different things.
It wasn't ominous at all, Zach. Doorway to the apocalypse.
I think she babbles basically that. I mean, doors can mean lots of things when she's driving. It could be an actual door, a metaphorical door of the apocalypse. One of the ones you step on at the 7-Eleven. It doesn't recognize me sometimes, but I exist.
The door that they have to open to fix the slushy machine at the 7-Eleven because it's always busted.
She's a little nervous, so she's like every door she can think of as she's just driving. Extra being aware of spooky old ladies and or rocking chairs.
Beatrix, what did the voice sound like? Did it sound like someone's voice that you recognize?
Oh. Did it?
You had just been speaking to her, so yeah, it was definitely Agatha's voice.
Okay. Yeah,
even though she was no longer there and not visible, her rocker was gone. Apparently, she was still talking to you.
It was Agatha, but here, not out there.
So
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the case file, did it mention anything about Mallory also going missing before when she was a kid?
Interesting. I'm going to have you roll at difficulty 4.
Okay.
I assume you've studied the case file. We'll say intelligence and investigation at difficulty 4.
What's that? Who has 7 dice for this? Well,
because you all are provided with very detailed case histories, as much information as like a private investigator could possibly have obtained for you. But it's going to be like dozens of pages that you are trying to sift through the information in. Do you have eidetic memory?
Did I take that?
Can you
no,
remember
I
if
do
you
not.
have eidetic memory? That's pretty great.
I do not. I did consider it for him, but I did not take it. But I do get 3 successes.
Understood. You do not recall anything from the case file about her going missing in the sense of like a missing persons report being filed. But one thing that does kind of come to your mind is that it is captured in the case file from the notes of one of her grade school teachers a long time ago when her school files were pulled, that she liked to play hide and seek. So that does stand out to you.
All right. So he is looking through these and he has everything bookmarked very well. And he's going through some of these reports here. So I'm wondering if grandma there was remembering maybe Mallory when she was a kid didn't really go missing, but it says that she used to like to play hide and seek when she was a kid. So, sometimes like kids get lost when they play hide and seek, especially out here if they've got a big estate or something. She might have just gotten lost for a while and gotten found again.
Or
But
she fell asleep somewhere.
that too happened to me when I was a kid. You know,
Only
although
one way for us to find out.
very true.
Do you all have other relevant conversations before we finish our drive to the estate?
Just, I know most of you don't commonly deal with the spirits, and a bit of advice: be careful exactly what you say and how you say it. And don't agree to anything. Those are both of those are very important.
Noted. Thank you.
Don't agree to anything. Okay.
I would like to know from the case files, are we expecting anyone at the house?
Yes, that's easy. The butler is the one who actually has been dealing with like the finances of paying your all's retainer fees and getting that to the agency, and um, uh, he's your main point of contact, and you're expecting him to be at the house when you get there.
Okay. And what like what all do we know about this specific case? So we've been sent to this house to meet with the butler to find this missing woman. Do we know like how long has she been missing for? Is there any other like supplemental info in the case?
Yeah, so she's been missing for about 96 hours at this point.
Oh, that's right. You did say that.
Yeah, yeah. The butler has more details that he is planning to give you. Some of these specifics were not included for like privacy reasons, right? Like in the event that the file had been interrupted or something, they didn't want the information falling into the wrong hands about like her typical whereabouts and stuff. But that is something that he intends to provide to you when you speak to him, and to answer any other questions about the case.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So you all drive into the city limits and then a bit of a ways into the city. This is a bit out there because there is a lot of land that the Mergaut Estate sits on, a couple dozen acres. And as you pull up, you see a gate, rather tall, imposing, spikes on the top of it. Um, the gate itself comes up in like arches, um, and it is currently opened. You can see there is a driveway that's um, several hundred feet, probably, that is a bit winding and leads you down to the front of the house. It kind of circles around both directions. Around the house, there is a porch that's covered and juts out in the middle. The house looks like it's probably undergone major renovations at least 3 or 4 times, in terms of like restoration work. It's very old. And you can see that there is a light on in the parlor, where it like leads right inside. And as you all pull up to the gate, we will go ahead and take our 15-minute break. Hello, and welcome back to The Haunting of Mallory and Mergaut. When we took our break, our detectives, as it were just rolling up to the front gate of Mergaut Manor, and I don't want to make any assumptions, so I will ask, do you all intend to pull up now, or do you have conversations to finish before you approach?
I have just a question about entropy sight.
Okay.
Would that allow me to see signs of recent death?
I would say you could use that for this purpose. Yeah.
I forget with the site-based ones. Do you have to roll for it, or is it just activate?
Roll for it. It's just
Okay.
going to be difficulty 3.
1 success.
1 success. That is enough, at least to peek beyond the veil for a moment. As far as you can tell, there has been a lot of death here. There is nothing recent, as in like past couple of days, with that
Okay.
roll.
All right. He's just keeping a mental note.
No, that makes perfect sense. Does anyone else have magics that they want to cast or use?
I would like to activate a combination of spirit and correspondence, so I have a general kind of idea of spirits and their location around me.
Are you using it like on the house, or using correspondence? Are you gonna do the whole estate? Just because the
Just-
number of successes will be higher depending which target.
Just my general area, like
Your current
with an
general
eyesight.
area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well, what's the difficulty?
The difficulties is gonna only be 3. It's still just
Oh.
a side-based power.
2.
Okay. You do notice the presence of a large number of spirits. Go ahead and make me a. Do you have Dotson Occult?
I don't know. I don't.
I do.
Unfortunately, this is just going to be for Idris. Let me see if there's anything else that might apply. What about enigmas? No? One second.
That's okay.
You have esoterica? Sure. Give me a roll against wits and esoterica. Difficulty.
Big
Difficulty.
0. I had 2 successes and 2 ones.
Oh,
It's a big 0.
Okay. So yeah, so you would not be able to obtain any other information. You do see that there's like an abnormal quantity of them. Not like, oh my gosh, they're packed everywhere, but like, sort of matching up with what Sebastian saw of there having been a lot of death here in general. Even though it's not recent, kind of matches that. There's
Yeah. Well, everyone, shall we?
Get a little closer. Beatrix almost kind of wants to do the opposite of that, which is using sense life to just to
Okay.
see, like how many living things are about.
Excellent. Go ahead and roll it. That will just be difficulty 3 as well.
Okay, and just life.
So roll your arete. That will
Arete,
be
yes. Okay. Sorry.
yeah. Arete number of dice at difficulty 3.
Okay.
Don't get one.
That's just 2 successes.
Okay, that is still pretty decent. There could be more in the general area because you're having a hard time without correspondence seeing the whole area. But you see at least 3 like human life forms, and you also notice that the garden is in the back. In the back of the manor house, so there's like a large garden that you can sense a bunch of different thriving plants.
I like to imagine she jumped out of the van and just legit just kneeled on the ground and like plunged her fingers into like the dirt.
Oh yeah, no,
And just kind
100%.
of like feeling it, like, tendrils. Okay. So you said 3 people and then the guard in the back. Well, 3 life forms.
3 life forms and a garden. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. She'll share that. She'll be like, and she'll make sure like life forms. And the garden, which I mean, you might not be interested in, but to be honest, I'm really, really curious to go to, but I'm gonna try to control myself. And I guess we'll talk to the person first, but I'm just gonna be thinking about that garden.
So talk to the people first and the plants second.
I would do it a different way, but I understand that we all have a different, path.
Well, I also would be interested in seeing if there are any herbs or special plants back there. But I agree. We can just go with the people first and then the garden.
Okay.
Okay. Beatrix, are you pulling up to the house?
Unless any of her team suggests anything else, yeah, she would probably just pull on up.
Okay. You pull up to the house, and you have headlights, so I won't make you roll a perception for this. You do notice there are several areas that, well, especially you being who you are, there are several areas where you can tell the grass has been disturbed, where people actually park on the grass in front of the house. Your choice whether or not she would be willing to follow suit, but that seems to be what people typically do.
I mean, she understands that sometimes grass, and it's fine. Grass is actually fairly resilient, but they have told me sometimes that they don't, it's a little disrespectful. So she'll park as much on if there's any like gravel or pavement as possible.
Yeah, yeah. I would say what you probably do is you probably pull off to where it circles around the house a little bit,
Yeah.
and you get like half on, half off, so that there's enough space that someone can like inch their way
She takes a full
by
2
you.
minutes going back and forward. We're almost there. Don't worry about it. Like just watching it to get the least amount of grass she can. Okay, we're good. You don't want to insult the
Excellent.
grass when you first arrive. It's not good.
Yes, we might need to get some answers from the grass.
Exactly. Doctor, you understand, and I appreciate that. Sebastian's always giving me crap about it.
I mean, look,
See?
I'm sure.
She'll just point at his face.
I'm sure they talk to you. It's fine.
I don't like that, I'm
believe
sure.
you.
She'll get out of the van and be like, whatever.
I turn to Sebastian and I say, you must know that plants have that power over people, right? Because you yourself were addicted to a plant.
I mean, as he pulls another stick of nicotine gum out of I understand. I'm not judging. We'll get consent from the grass to park in it. It's fine.
Okay. I turn and follow Beatrix off the van.
I can tell you the spirits do not like when you park on them at all.
That I can understand too. All right. Do I look okay? This is Vestarectness. Didn't stain anything, did it? All right.
Just to say you look fine. Her overalls are just like, she doesn't like clean up after the garden, so she's got like dirt everywhere. She's like, you look great. We're all very professional.
All right.
Yes, I think we all look very professional too.
As you all make your way to the door, about 5 to 10 steps away from it, it swings open. A man wearing a tuxedo with gray hair that's like receding a bit, but is like completely slicked back, greets you. He has a little bit of like a wry smile. His smile only curls up on like one side of his face, and he says, "Well, hello. I do welcome you to Mergaut Manor. I'm so glad that you could join us, as I hear you are the best."
Oh, thank you very much. You must be the butler that we are supposed to meet.
Yes, of course. Duke, please come in, and he'll step out of the way and hold the door wide open so everyone can come inside.
Thank you.
He waits for you all to gather, and then he will lead you into a dining room. It looks like you can probably seat like 14 to 16 people. There's just like a bunch of chairs, 2 at the heads of the table, and then a pretty long table.
Can seat, you said, or we can see them? Can seat?
It can seat. Yeah.
Okay,
Seat.
I was like, there's people here.
Yeah. No. It can seat that many people. And
Okay.
he sort of gestures for you all to sit. You can see he's got like a manila file folder with some like extra papers. You can't see what it might be, but he does seem to have like some extra notes, or maybe it's the same case file or something sitting in front of him. He After he gestures for you all to sit, he says, "The extended family is definitely missing Mallory, so we are so glad you were willing to take the case on."
Love to help.
It's not
My
too much of a trouble now.
My duty is to make sure that I do absolutely everything that I can to assist you all in your investigation. I did have a couple of different things that I wanted to tell you about, and then I'll be pleased to answer any and all questions you think may aid us in this goal of finding Mallory. This is where she works, and he will slide over to who would have sat closest to him.
Probably
Yes.
Sebastian.
Either-
Idris?
or Sebastian. All right, just
Okay, so he will slide it to Sebastian. It is a map with a marked building and address corresponding to a large building called Eden Tech. He says that this is where Mallory worked. There should be someone there capable of helping you if you have any questions about um, what that work might have entailed. I'm afraid I don't know, unfortunately. He slides over another piece of paper. It is an address for a bar, as well as an address for a bowling alley. So a bar and a bowling alley. And he says these are the two places that she most liked to frequent for entertainment with her college friends. Some of those of them that are still left in the city, of course. She has been missing for about 4 days, as you all know. She did not come home one night after, I believe, one moment, and he kind of flips through some of his papers, and he says, yes, we have her leaving the bar at 1 a.m., and she did not make it home and was not seen after that, about 4 days ago.
What day of the week was that?
We'll say, hold on. I'll say it was a Tuesday. That would be like a common special night. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question for you all that, well, for you, that I'm not sure was covered in the files exactly. Our agency is usually called when there are interesting concerns regarding the specific case. So why is it that we were chosen?
That is a good question. It is a bit awkward to discuss, and I'll be quite honest that I'm not the most familiar when it comes to these kinds of things. But the house has always been a bit odd, and it seems that Mallory's maternal grandmother has become very attached to the estate and its going-ons, although she passed quite some time ago. Fortunately or unfortunately, she has always been a presence in Miss Mallory's life.
So the child was haunted.
Um, in a word, yes, I suppose you might say that. Hmm. It wasn't too troubling at first, although as time goes on and the spirit does not depart, it begins to become a bit concerning. Unfortunately, for my part, well, mm, after her parents passed, I didn't believe her for quite some time. Although um, I have actually met the spirit myself, which is not something that I realized was possible. Um, it was a bit disorienting.
Understandable.
And looking through the notes that we have and the stuff that he's got on the table as well. And when was it exactly her parents passed away?
So that would have been, she was 16 at the time. She is 25 right now. So about 9 to 10 years ago.
Under what circumstances?
Yeah, they were killed during a robbery, not at the house, at a store. Um, they were collateral damage in a robbery.
Okay. Sebastian is writing all these down. Now,
A jewelry store, if that feels relevant.
you never know, it might be.
That her grandmother was around? Was she ever upset about it, or did she, find comfort in, just the energy staying there?
After the parents passed?
Well, her grandma, but also that, like, did she ever seem to be upset about hauntings or spirits staying around, or did she find it comforting?
Hmm. Well, I think the young miss may have found it comforting when she was younger, but um, well, it's sort of like the red man in the suit, right? Once you begin to understand that all of the other people around you and your friends do not believe in your grandmother, who is a ghost still existing, and that they do not have experiences where they communicate with ghosts, it can be a bit mm, separating.
Hmm. Okay. I see. Was she trying to? Was she not interacting with her grandmother anymore?
Mm. Not as she got older, no.
Hmm.
I can't say exactly when, but perhaps during the teen years sometimes. Sometime.
And her grandmother was named
Agatha.
Agatha. All right. Okay. Just making sure everything on our file is correct here. Is there still a bedroom that is devoted to Agatha in this house, or even though it has been some time that she passed, was her bedroom cleared out, or was it kept the same?
Hmm. Well, I wouldn't say devoted. At one point in time, the room she had been using, well, it's a big house. Things are shifted around and changed quite often to the whims of whoever occupies the estate. Um, but there is a room that was being converted to a study by her father some time ago. Unfortunately, much of the property that seems to have been left there in the study would end up missing or destroyed or vandalized. So the room has since been abandoned, and well, I can show you to it, but it's kept completely bare.
I'd be very, very interested in seeing it actually.
Uh, Certainly. He like looks slightly confused. He's like, "Is that something that you would need now?"
No, I'm sure my colleagues have other questions as well. We're just
Hmm.
getting our facts in order before we proceed. I realize it's quite late in the evening, but you know, when you're here. So we may as well do a thing, right?
Certainly.
Then
For a
there'd be
second.
nothing stopping us from walking around for a bit.
Well, you may move freely, but if you don't mind, I'll be accompanying you as we have visitors and the property in the absence of Miss Mallory is my responsibility.
How many people? Just so we can expect, so we know that they're people and not spirit people.
Oh, well, there is there's me, of course. There's a gardener. There's a cook. And there are two maids that are in the employ of the estate. I'm not sure if everyone is here. They mostly have the necessary keys to come and go and do their work as necessary.
You could tell she was doing math in her head and getting a little confused, but then he said they might not all be here. And she kind of like breathes out a little, like, okay, there's an explanation. But that's all in her head. She's just here going, okay, that excellent, thank you. And she gives him like a little poke just to see how solid he is. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so you poke him and he is solid.
She just looks like a little like just out of just like puts her finger out, brings it back in, nods.
He's like, well, unfortunately, I quite get it. Make no mind of it. It's completely okay.
Hey, sometimes it's simple solutions, simple questions.
I suppose.
Yeah.
You mentioned other visitors.
Oh, no, my apologies. You all are the visitors at the moment, and though you, of course, have my trust to do this investigation, I would like to accompany you if I am able, and I will not be getting in your way because the property is my responsibility, and it just feels appropriate to keep my eye on any visitors.
Get it? We're suspicious.
So it's better
Well.
safe, right? We each have our roles to play.
I definitely would not say you all appear suspicious. Actually, I think the gardener would love your overalls. He wears something very similar, but it is duty.
I don't know if you went hardware muted, Megan.
Yeah, we.
How about now?
Yeah.
Yep, you're back.
Yeah. Thank God. Thank you.
What were you saying?
Oh God, I don't know. It was nothing important. I'm just glad you can hear me
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Beatrix is a
Excellent.
ghost.
The butler pokes you and is like, "Oh my gosh, you were right. Simple answer, simple solutions." It was
Have you
you all
considered
along.
burning the house down? Wait, what? Well, where would all of you like to start? Because I kind of want to see that study.
Yes.
Works for me.
Yeah.
Everything is garden and not garden, but we can start with not garden.
Okay.
That certainly makes the decision simpler, yeah.
Everyone,
maybe
go
you-
ahead and make me a perception and alertness check.
Okay.
The difficulty will be 7.
Okay.
Zero successes.
Likewise.
Okay. 2 successes for Beatrix. That will be enough. Idris?
Go goose egg, if you will. Not
Okay. Beatrix. Unfortunate circumstances for you. You seem to be the only one who hears things. And what you hear this time, it's almost at more of a whisper, which is why the difficulty was so high. It's like up the stairs and in a completely different room, but you can hear someone talking, and they're like, "I've had it. The gardener is parking on the lawn again, and I swear I just won't have it."
She'll talk. Is there someone upstairs? Is there people upstairs?
Oh, No, I don't think anyone's upstairs. I'm not sure that the maids are here. They're both women, but those would be the only people who might be upstairs.
I think we might need to go upstairs then. I heard stuff again.
Oh.
Are you also, have you been parking on the lawn?
I don't, but sometimes when Miss Mallory has visitors, they park on the grass.
I'll do that later. But I heard something upstairs, and if nothing's up, I've been hearing whispers, and it's a little disconcerting.
He looks. He seemed like somewhat okay and like he had come to terms with the grandmother, but you see, he seems like rather like disturbed at the moment. He's like looking at you very, very concerned. Like, I'm relying on you to be the person who tells me this isn't happening, but you're betraying me by telling me that there are ghosts.
No, it's okay. I don't have to be good. Idris, this is for you.
It could not be that at all. It could simply be. I don't want to lie to him, naturally, but it's probably that, to be honest. They could very well just be rats or something else.
Yeah, whispering rats. Yeah, they whisper a lot.
It doesn't have to be a whisper. We were tired, and it could have been rats making sounds, then we could have just assumed that they were a voice.
I'm sorry. So sorry. Would whispering rats be considered better than ghosts? Because I don't know.
That's a personal preference.
No,
that would
just
be
most
better.
likely just tired. I believe the word is delusions, right? What is it? Occam's razor. The simplest solution is often the best one.
Rats in the walls, right?
I have
Rats
been
in the
trouble
walls.
sleeping. Have you been having trouble sleeping? He's like, turns to Beatrice and is like, could that be an explanation?
Yes,
I sleep just fine.
absolutely.
I don't know what you said. Oh,
No.
sorry, Beatrix. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
No,
No.
it's absolutely. You know what? I have a solution for this too. And she, like, in her pocket, she pulls out this tea bag. Listen here. Here you go. This has got mint and chamomile and other stuff you don't have to worry about. Why don't you take this and you can sleep and there's nothing to worry about, and we've got this completely, and we will have a conversation with those whispering rats, and it's okay. It's okay. Like, she gets you, just like, it's okay. Everything will be okay. This is what we do.
Think that I'd better wait until your investigations are concluded, but I will accept the tea.
Yeah. If you want, you can chew on it a little too. It's a little stronger that way, but it gets right in there.
I'd like
Kind of
to
gives you a bit of a look, but then he does start chewing on it a little bit.
And I'd like to use some magic to calm him, to ease his fears.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's probably like a brain chemistry thing or something.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll your arete. The difficulty will be 4. Okay. And remember, you all can spend points of quintessence to, I think it's lower the difficulties.
Oh, I'd like to do that.
Okay. So if you spend 1, that'll make you difficulty 3, which is the minimum.
Okay. Mine didn't save, so I think I had.
And you can spend a point of willpower for an automatic success as well.
Okay, cool. Let's see how this goes.
After you've made us roll willpower, and then you're like, you know what you should do? You should spend that willpower. I get it.
As your storyteller, I would advise you to be very discretionary in spending willpower, but it is a thing that you can do.
I got it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got 2 successes.
Okay, that is definitely enough. It is a human person that you are trying to calm the emotions of, and he looks at you, and he's like, "Oh, right. I was told you're a doctor. I'm in great hands. Of course, absolutely."
Yes, there's nothing to worry about.
That was awesome.
Did you the room here? Let me show you, Mr. Sebastian. And he does lead you to a room. The door is closed. They're not claw marks. It looks more like there are points where the wood has splintered a bit from being bashed by something. It's a very thick door, but it's like someone took like a hammer or some kind of blunt object at a couple points and has like splintered the wood in a bit.
And
Um,
whose door is this?
This is the door that leads to the room that's kept bare.
Oh,
That originally was the bedroom of Agatha Mergaut.
got it. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
So he goes up to it, and it's almost like he reaches for the handle, and then he turns to you, Sebastian. He's like, feel free.
Thank you. I'll open up the door and head on inside.
You do so. You were told it would be barren. It is not barren. In the center, there is one wooden rocking chair, completely unoccupied.
Any other shelves or tables or anything like that? Just the rocking chair.
It has been painted a complete eggshell slide off white, and there is nothing else in the room. There isn't actually even any carpet. It's just the studs and the blank sheet that goes underneath.
All right. I'm going to walk into the center of the room and I am going to pull out a lovely pocket watch, which my grandfather gave me. This is one of the focuses that I have. And I am going to be looking around the room and slowly turning back the time on the watch. But I want to use correspondence and time to see how far back I can go viewing a couple of years. I want to view as far back as I can go to roughly when the old woman was still alive.
You have an Arte of 3, correct?
Yep.
So you can do this. You can roll. The difficulty will be 4. If you do decide that there is a time to spend willpower, I would tell you to consider it at this point,
Sure.
because you would know that time magic, especially going far back, can often require a lot of successes.
Yes.
And I will just friendly note from storyteller to player, 3 would not be enough to go back as far as you're probably looking to, even if all 3 of them were a success. So I'll
Well,
let you decide how to treat it, but just a
I
note.
will burn 1 point of quintessence to bring the difficulty down to 3.
Okay.
And then I will also burn that 1 willpower for 1 guaranteed success.
Is the butler still with us?
He is.
That Idris will kind of pull him to the side to keep him focused now on Sebastian.
Taking care of them. I love it.
So I got 2 successes, so we'll see how far back I can go.
Are any of is that including the
Yeah.
so 2 with it? Are any of them 10s?
No 10s, no.
No 10s?
There would
Because-
have been 3 successes, but there was a 1 in there that blanked out one of my other successes. So What
Is
do
a
you-
10 double?
Not on the Arte roll unless you have a specialty in the specific magic you're doing, or you have a specific thing esoteric.
What is your affinity, Sebastian?
entropy.
Entropy. Okay, so no, that would not apply in this case. Got it. 2 successes.
Mm.
You go back a bit through time. You see the moment, roughly 20-25 minutes ago in the time stream where the rocking chair appears here. I'll let you decide of that what you will, or you can roll me an intelligence and time. So actually your dots in the time sphere plus the intelligence. You could roll that at a
Sure.
difficulty of 3.
Difficulty 3.
Mhm.
2 successes.
Okay. I would say that that is enough with your dots in the time sphere. It gives you good sense and knack of time in general. The moment it appeared here was the precise moment it disappeared when you encountered it. And then you go back a bit farther, and you're probably able to make it through a number of months with 2 successes, and employing your specialized tool of your grandfather's watch. But it's completely barren in all of those months that you're able to see your way through after the chair.
Is the chair in there the whole time in those months that I go back?
Mm-mm. It's never there at all until 20 to 25 minutes ago, the precise moment.
Okay. So, number one, I get the feeling maybe we're being played with a little bit. Number two, did not get as much out of that as I wanted.
It's fine. Well, we will just continue to look around. Sure. We'll learn more. Everything has a story to tell us as long as we're willing to listen to it.
And before we
if-
leave,
go ahead.
okay. I was just gonna say
Oh.
before we leave this room, I wanted to just take just one look, like a sweeping investigative look at the room to see if there's anything else that is noteworthy.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me intelligence and investigation at standard difficulty of 3. Does anyone, Idris, you might be likely to have it, does anyone have either spirit magnet or medium on their sheet?
I have spirit magnet 7.
Oh,
Yes. So at that point then, Idris, you hear what you'd probably quantify as a scream, although I refuse to scream at all of you, in the back of your
Thank
head that tells you to sit in the chair.
Hmm.
Now, you know that with the spirit magnet that high, spirits will often mess with you, and you probably don't always do as you're told by any stretch of the imagination, but it's up to you how to react.
I would like to take a few steps away from the butler person and say a quick prayer, a quick request to Obutara, and peek across the gauntlet really quick to see what's around us.
Okay.
What would be the difficulty?
3.
That's
And-
2 successes.
You peek through, you notice very quickly that the gauntlet is very thin. And you see that standing right next to you, basically in your ear, is Agatha. But she's no longer on the material side. She's through the gauntlet.
He'll give her a nod and actually, if you all don't mind, my knee is killing me. And you can take a seat in the chair.
Okay. As you do so, you begin to have a memory. It's not your own, of people coming into this room, and you remember and you feel how angry it made you, and that there were people bringing the things in that you were especially mad at, and one of those people helping a moving company was this butler. and staring at him, you feel like a surge of anger rising within you as you sit. And then all of the emotions and the strange memory just fade.
Well, could you tell us more about the process to remove things from here? Was there any damages to the room? Perhaps some strange events?
Well, let me think. That was quite some time ago. I was working here, but I believe, what was that? 12 years ago? 15? Um, anyway, so I had hired a moving company, but they sent less people than they were supposed to. We cataloged all of the property and moved it into a storage unit in the downtown area. It's a bit of a drive, but a storage unit in the downtown area. I think it mostly still remains there, other than any things that Miss Mallory may have decided to sell off. Um, hmm. Oh, I do remember something that was rather odd. When we were doing the inventory of the items, Miss Agatha's items, there were a couple pieces of jewelry that were missing from the inventory.
What were they?
There was a ring, not a wedding ring, just an ornamental one, as well as two necklaces that went missing. It was rather inconvenient. Their values probably numbered in the thousands of dollars, but beyond that, they were essentially antiques. Very hard to sort of find a replacement for.
And you have no idea where they went or what happened?
No, they just went missing. We of course launched an investigation, filed a complaint with the moving company, but they were never able to do anything about it. So we just ended up getting a small check in the sum of $7,000 or so from the insurance company.
Oh, interesting.
Miss Mallory was a bit upset about the missing jewelry as well, though.
Did you say something strange about it? Anything that perhaps may have struck you as being, oh, I don't know, perhaps overreactionary or underreactionary?
A bit. That was the moment, although I can't say it was related, but that was about the time I would say that Miss Mallory stopped wanting to interact with her grandmother's spirit.
See.
Interesting. And if we wanted to get access to this safety storage locker area,
Oh, I could take you there, definitely.
all right.
I would just need to pick up the key where it's stored at the post office. I suppose we might have to do that in the morning, although we might be able to get in with a key card, depending on how well they've locked up the place.
Would
Lisa, you were
appreciate
doing
that.
an investigation check, right?
Yes, I did.
Mhm.
That result was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
It is maybe not what you're looking for, but you do inspect very closely. You can find the precise areas, despite the like painting and all of the work that was done, where there was damage that has been repaired by putting up and resealing new poster board. So you're able to find that by looking very closely, kind of tapping on the poster board, like tapping on it. You're able to locate a section that is a bit odd, like there's something behind it.
I'd like to take down that poster board.
How do you want to go about doing it? Let me
Is
ask
it-
that. Do you just kind
yeah.
of start tearing, or do you say something first, or?
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna
Okay.
try to just stealthily from the bottom. I'm guessing the bottom is closer to me. I'd like to just try to peel one of the bottom corners up.
You start doing so, and you can't really see too much with just like peeking under the bottom. You would have to like pull the piece off, which you
Okay.
probably could do.
I look at my fellow detectives and I kind of do our signal to like stall and distract.
Well, we would greatly appreciate if you could take us down to see the storage locker. May also be important to see if we can find that jewelry as well.
And as they are happening to be talking and distracting him around these moments anyway, while you're conducting your investigation, Dora rips the poster board off.
Yeah, I'm still gonna try to do it a little silently or as quietly as possible, but yeah.
He definitely notices, and the rest of you who are talking to him, Doro probably can't notice this just because you're mid-process, but he does react, and you see the like confusion and anger kind of rise up, but it gets smoothed away before he even says anything. You'd have to roll insight to be like sure exactly what that means, but you do see he's like he gets angry, like he's about to say something, and then it just fades away. Doro, you find behind it, it was really just like a very precise investigation that allowed you to discover this, because the thing behind it is not actually that large. It's a small ring box. There are no necklaces, but there is a small ring box.
I'd like to open it.
You see in it it looks like a gold ring. Could be plated, it's hard to say, but it appears like a gold ring. And it is embossed with 5 emeralds, one sort of main larger emerald, and then a couple of small ones as sort of like in the frame around it. And it is engraved.
Mm-hmm. What does the engraving say?
It says, "For my dear Agatha."
Oh dear. I'd like to put the poster back.
Unless you're like using construction tools, it's pretty hard to like fix poster board once you've kind of had to like peel it apart. But it can be repaired. It's just he'll need to like have someone re-put the poster board up.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm going to step over to the group and into the butler's line of vision now and say, so I'm sure you did not know this was there, but I just found this ring in the wall. Do you know
Yes.
anything about it?
That's one of the missing items. I
Oh.
remember it very obviously. The emeralds, yes.
So no one looked in the wall this whole time when it went missing?
I suppose not. And he looks a little bit confused. by the
Heavens.
proposition that someone may have just torn the walls apart while looking for the jewelry. That seems a bit confusing to him.
I don't have alertness. I'm looking for any other type of. No, I don't really. I have empathy. I just want to get a read on what he's feeling right now.
You can roll that. You can roll charisma and empathy.
Okay, cool.
I'll say the difficulty will be 4 in this case.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
4 successes?
Yes.
Yeah. He is he's a relatively like stoic-ish person. But you do see like a bit of emotion. I guess I would say probably a mixture of like disappointment and happiness at the same time when you show him the ring.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I say to him, well, I know it must be a bit confusing and maybe embarrassing that it was here the whole time. But it is, in fact, here in this very room.
Yes, when you began pulling up the poster board, I was actually a bit worried that Miss Agatha might be cross with us, but I'd imagine she'd be happy that you found the ring. And hold on, let me make a roll for him.
Yes, I wonder what Miss Agatha thinks.
I stay on my head. Oh no.
He's like he like thinks for a moment, and then this like flash of inspiration comes over his face, and he's like, that does bring a little bit more light onto the property destruction, I suppose.
Oh, how so?
Well, she was tearing up the room. She may have been trying to show us how to find it, but I didn't make the connection at the time.
It's said that sometimes the hardest lesson is to learn how to listen.
That's very wise. Yeah.
You mind if I have a look at that ring quickly?
Oh, sure. I hand it over.
So there were 3 items that went missing. What I would like to try and do is look at the ring, and then I'm going to pull out my sketch pad and my my notes and stuff like that, and just sort of like get down on the floor with the ring close to me. And I've got, because the sketch pad and my pencils or whatever are some of my special tools, and I would like to use correspondence to try and work the connection between the 3 pieces to see if I might be able to somehow pinpoint where these other pieces might be.
You are trying to use the ring as a focus for scrying on the other objects.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So
yes.
I'm hoping that,
definitely
my free hand will be drawing like a map or some shit.
Difficulty 3.
All right. What is that? Every time today. I got 1 success.
Okay. You see a necklace begins to be drawn. Do you have coloring tools with you, I assume, as well?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they
Yeah.
are very, very nice sketch pencils, like a whole set of these things. And I also have like a nice pen that my mother gave me. These are all very personal tools to me.
Yes, so you start sketching it out, kind of using the pen to kind of give you all of the framing of the image. And you see a woman. She's got very long hair. It comes all the way down her back, almost, approaching her waist. She is rather beautiful, like would be the equivalent of actually having the beautiful merit. She has a necklace around her neck. She's wearing a dress. It's very long, goes all the way down to the floor, where she has some black shoes with red on the bottom. The color starts to come into the necklace as you're focusing on this. It is green, sort of matching the color-ish of the emerald on the ring. You continue drawing. The dress itself is red with the matching the red bottoms of the shoes. You end up drawing what looks like a full-length mirror, a detached full-length mirror in one of the corners of the picture. There is a train set that you end up drawing on sort of the bottom of it as part of this like overall image that's coming together. Her hair is blonde. She's also wearing a pair of earrings that match the green emerald necklace that she's wearing. And that's the what you get for the picture. You do not see two necklaces, you only see the one.
Does this room look familiar? I ask our butler friend.
Oh.
We still haven't even gotten his name yet, unless it's in the files.
No.
His name is Butler. That's just his last name is a man.
It's B. Utler.
I am Butler
Um,
Man.
So a couple things. One, the butler's name. You all did get his name. His name is Charles, because I cannot have a butler who's not named Charles. It's very difficult for me. I'm just like, what should I name him? Charles. And then like later I realize what I've done. At any rate, to answer your other question, when you ask ask him if the room looks familiar, he's like, no, the room doesn't look familiar at all, but the woman actually looks kind of familiar. Um, when you have an estate house like this, a lot of the young madam's friends tend to be people who have some wealth as well, and well, that actually sort of not perfect, but it kind of reminds me of the mother of one of Miss Mallory's friends.
Do you have a name?
Yes, her name is Regina.
I think you might be hardware muted again, Megan.
Might be what?
Hardware. You can hear me now. Don't worry about it. It
Yes,
was
we
nothing.
can hear you
Obviously,
now.
it was not a thing to be said. So
Regina. All right.
He will give you the full name. It's Regina Firstad. I'll spell that out in Zoom.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, where do you think we should concentrate next? Do we think it's worth heading to Mallory's room here, or did we want to check out the gardens, the back first, or?
I mean, we could do either. Either's fine.
So you want to check out the gardens?
I mean, if that's what the group wants to do.
Let's go to the garden.
Ah, yes, the doctor's right.
Lead the way.
Okay. The butler will lead the way. He takes you through the dining room into the kitchen. you do see a man there who looks like he's mostly doing a bunch of cleaning up. There's like an unfortunate number of dishes in the sink that he's kind of like slowly washing his way through. And you pass by him, the butler leads you by him. Do you have an idea?
Oh, just wondering, and I'm going to say this out loud because I noticed that Beatrix also kind of cocked her head. Was there a party here recently? I'm gonna say that out loud.
Yes, we had a few people. Have any of you experienced a search before, where you had someone you cared about who's gone missing?
Sebastian takes a very noticeable swig out of his flask.
Sure.
Many people came together, wanted to be in this place of the extended family, and met with friends, members of the community who were interested in helping, and they did a search around a few places of interest, a physical search, looking for Miss Mallory, but unfortunately that search didn't turn up anything.
How unfortunate. Okay.
Wants to like poke the guy doing the dishes, just like as casual as she can when they're walking by, just kind of.
Yeah, he is physically there, and actually doesn't seem to notice you. He like has a scrub brush and a large pot, and he is like really trying to get something with the bristles at the
She'll
moment.
give a little thumbs up as she goes by, like poke.
He's good.
Yeah, being real cash about it.
Excellent. So the butler will lead you out to the gardens. There are a lot of like controlled ivies in this garden, like hanging up on a pot, which have then been like allowed to grow with like a supporting kind of like rod with an arch on it, so that it kind of controls the direction and doesn't create too much tension in the ivy as it's growing. There's like a wall that you can see in the garden. The kind of entrance has the ivy growing all over it, so you can see these kind of like two main patches that come in. And then as you all are led inside the actual entrance, you can see several different kinds of flowers, as well as assorted other plants that are kind of made. You can sense a green theme similar to the emeralds. There are a lot of there's accents as well, but there are a lot of green flowers.
Anything look medicinal?
Go ahead and roll me an int and medicine check.
Like
Okay.
between 5 and 7 leaves medicinal, or are we talking medicinal as in between 5 to 7 leaves, or different kinds of medicinal?
Oh, any. 1, 2, 3, 4. You said int and medicine, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
1, 2.
Difficulty
Oh, yeah.
3.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. 4 successes.
Are any of them ones?
No.
So 4 successes. That's very good. You notice a couple of herbs that do have like alternative medicinal properties that you would be aware of and have used previously. And you also see, I'll leave it to you all in the audience to decide on its medicinal properties, but there is actually peyote growing that you can see in a special area of the garden.
Oh, interesting. Well, I turn to Idris. Now, from what I know, peyote has a link to the spirit world, or it helps people to get to that. Isn't that so?
True. There were also a number of visitors around when we first got here. And I will quickly say a quick request to Father Obatala, and I'm gonna look through the gauntlet again, see if there's anything interesting happening here. What's the difficulty? Is it 3 or 4?
You're just using a sight power, right? 3.
3 successes.
Okay. You pierce the gauntlet again. The ghosts actually seem to be avoiding this area for the most part. At the moment, you don't know that that's necessarily a persistent effect. You don't sense any sort of like spirit wards or anything like that, which you would be able to see with spirit sight. But yeah, they seem to be avoiding the area, and the gauntlet is still pretty thin as it has been through all of the areas you've seen of the estate.
Something's not quite right here. The spirits seem to be avoiding this place.
I think this is enough to put you all on edge. So I will have you roll me a perception and alertness check at difficulty 7. You will only need 1 success, but it is a difficult process.
It's an alertness, yes, not awareness.
Whew.
In this case, I'll say alertness. Yeah.
I got 2 successes.
A 0 again.
Okay.
Or
Sebastian's having none of it.
0. Doro, you are first, and Beatrix seems to have noticed about the same thing as you, just slightly after you. Because of your training, you're a bit quicker. You feel a scent hit your nose very, very subtly, and then that's blood.
Do you smell that? There's blood.
Oh, yes, yes.
Is Charles here with us? Of course he is, right?
He is, and he looks a bit
Dang it, too late.
Oh, no.
He heard me.
panicked. Yeah, he looks a bit panicked.
Crap.
He's not actively running or anything, but you see the fear in his eyes.
I'd like to try to follow that scent.
Okay. You do, and you can. You are led to a gazebo in the back corner of the garden. Well, not corner, actually. It's actually just like you came in the entrance, and then mirroring the entrance is the gazebo kind of on the other side. Everything grows around it in like a semicircle. I can draw it out if we need to afterwards. But as you approach, clear to everyone, you can notice what appears to be a man in his 30s lying face down in a pool of blood. It smells, as you've gotten closer, pretty fresh. And using that piece of information, you can all make me a wits and awareness. The difficulty will be 5. Yeah, the difficulty will be 5. Except for Sebastian, your difficulty will be 4.
Okay.
Okay, 1 success.
4
Okay.
successes.
0 again.
Idris, do you remember something that Sebastian said? When you had arrived, he had looked through his entropy sight to see if there was any death that had happened recently on the property, and he didn't see anything. And with the fresh blood, that means this has happened sometime since you've got here.
Wow.
I would like to use. I want to combine my correspondence in my life to check for blood and things like that, leaving away from this person and in a direction.
You would like to, you're looking for blood trails away from the person?
Basically, yeah.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and roll it. The difficulty will be, yeah, it's like blood on grass, so we'll say 5.
3 successes.
You are able to find a trail. It leads you a bit windy through the garden. And then you spot an area, it's very subtle, but someone has like breached through one of the hedges, like they were leaving in a rush. And you can kind of spot like the disorientation where they broke off a branch as they were quickly passing through. At that point, the blood trail ends. You can see where someone must have figured out that they were leaving like a trail and wiped it off somehow.
Sebastian is still back at the gazebo, and the moment he saw the body, he's pulling out his cell phone. I have police ties 3,
Okay.
so he's going to be calling somebody that he would be aware of in the New Orleans Police Department, busy reporting, because he knows that we don't want to contaminate the crime scene evidence. We're here for a different reason, not for this man.
You have influence 3, which is pretty good, but your influence is based, I would assume, in Atlanta, or is this from your home?
He is originally from New Orleans.
Yeah. So is your influence based here because it's based on people that you know from home and not through the detective agency?
I think so. Yeah. I feel like he probably started out here, with his sketch artist stuff when he was learning the ropes, and then
Okay.
moved up to be part of the detective agency in Atlanta.
You put in a call to someone that you know. It's not the chief, but it's one of the senior detectives who's directly under the police chief. And he answers on the second ring. Oh, hello, Sebastian. What can I do you for? Hope everything's okay.
I am okay. However, the man I'm looking at is not okay. The man I'm looking at is very dead. We're at the Mergaut Estate. Looks very recent. We haven't touched or disturbed anything yet.
Oh no. Okay. Man, I've already got a triple homicide. Go ahead and roll your influence at difficulty 5. So take the 3 dice and roll them.
Okay.
Let's see how much pull he is willing to exert for you at the moment.
Could I first try and bend luck in my favor a little bit here with entropy?
That
to
is
get an
like
additional
an
success.
excellent thing that a entropy mage would do. Absolutely.
All right. So just in case, I am going to use one willpower, so I have at least one guaranteed success there. What would be the difficulty here?
The difficulty is 5. Yeah.
For the arete roll?
Oh, for the spell. It's only 4 actually for that spell.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
the luck effect is from the second dot.
okay, cool. So that is 3 successes. 3 successes for bending the fate a little bit. So would
I will give
add...
you 2 additional successes.
Okay.
One
cool.
for activation and the 2 bonus carrying over.
Excellent. Then I will roll my police dice here. And the difficulty was 5 on that.
Mm-hmm.
3 successes with the dice plus the 2 from the spell, so 5.
5 successes. He's like, man, I've already got a triple homicide. I could go there personally, but I'll. Okay, what do you need? I can help. Do you want discretion? And that is kind of like a code word you would know for like, do you want me to not come there, so you can perform your investigation, and I'll give you like an hour of discretion time before anyone will show up.
Sure, that sounds great. I am used to the procedures. I'll try and make sure we don't contaminate the scene as much as possible.
Of course, Sebastian. I trust you more than half of my own men, to be honest with you.
Okay. Yeah, an hour should be good.
Anything else?
Yes. We are helping out with the disappearance of somebody here. Is there anything you can tell me about Regina Firstad?
Not right this moment, but I can get back to you in the morning. I'll be working all night.
All right. Well, thank you.
You got it.
And he'll
Anything for
hang
you,
up.
buddy.
So
Line goes dead.
he puts his hand up and says, gloves in the van first before anyone touches anything. On the boots too, plastic bags in the boots. We got to make sure nothing gets into this gazebo before we do our stuff. Just,
Mhm.
clean
This
it.
this has happened before. You all have the requisite gear. You suit up for a crime scene investigation.
Okay. I'm hoping that
Easy.
no one, we probably will leave. Maybe, yeah, we leave someone to like watch.
Oh, yeah, Beatrix was there because she kind of wants to kneel down and just, without touching, because she's had this conversation before, she just wants to lay down to make sure he's totally dead, because she could help if he's not like, she's not touched, but she's like getting right down face to face while they're all gone.
Roll me a perception and awareness, Beatrice. I will also say, the butler actually looks rather calm, and the reason is, at least Doro, you should probably be able to surmise this. He's still a little bit under the effects of your calming earlier.
Yeah.
So he has these like little moments, but overall he's pretty level.
Okay.
4.
4 success. Okay, Beatrice.
Yeah. She's on with paying attention to it.
He-
Very good for her.
He's dead, but you also notice 2 things.
Okay. I don't want to make assumptions. Not again.
One, there is a bone dagger that is in his hand. There's no blood on it or anything, but he is carrying it almost like he tried to use it to defend himself, but it is actually made of some kind of bone. Additionally, he is wearing a bracelet with very ornamental beading that borders on the spiritual.
Okay. All right. Then when they return, she'll be
Both
like,
of
"One."
these things with that check do strike you as very odd for a gardener to possess.
So when they return, she'll go, 1, I didn't touch anything. Okay. 2, he's definitely dead. Oh, okay, but 3, okay. And she'll explain without touching, like, he's got a bone dagger and he's got this bracelet, and this is like, I do some gardening too, and I also do some magic, but even I don't wear like, well, look at it. Come on down here. Look. And she'll like, like it's pretty like, magic-y. Oh, and the bone dagger.
Any of you who have occult, go ahead and roll me intelligence and occult at difficulty 5.
Okay.
Sebastian, do you have mentor or like status with the Thanatos or anything that kind of comes from your tradition?
I do not.
Okay.
And I realized who my ally is in the police department because I actually did put it on my sheet under allies. So it's Detective Damien Dubois is his name.
Damien Dubois. He's a senior detective, but otherwise, sure. Perhaps he got a promotion recently.
I do have academics, like quite a lot in academics. Would I have any idea about like the significance or anything of these pieces he's wearing in an academic sense.
This is This factoid is magical in nature, so
Okay.
academics unfortunately won't help you here.
So
Um,
then I want to say that Sebastian is literally doing crime scene sketching right now.
Did anyone have the occult roll? One
Yes.
success from Beatrice,
I have
Well-
3 success.
3 successes.
Mhm.
So Beatrix, you're like kind of trying to think on it and focus on it, and you know that there's something off about the bone dagger and the bracelet. They like obviously jump out to you, and you're not entirely sure why. Doro, you realize that these are actually possible tools for one of the awakened. This
Ah,
man was a mage.
what?
And that is where we are going to end tonight's episode of The Haunting of Mallory Mergaut.
Nice.
Another
Very
killing
cool.
mage is here. Wait a second. I'm a mage. Everyone get in the van.
Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you next week to see where this leads us.
Bye bye.